We've learned something important, that the progress that we fought for, that many of you were on the front lines of, and that we've celebrated and maybe even taken for granted, may not be as secure as we once expected.
She's back. You would think she'd follow protocol and just go away, just like every other candidate who lost a major election. But no, she won't go away. She's a vindictive, narcissistic bitch who thinks that she deserves to be president, entitled to the job. And it's so funny. For months before the election, her big concern was whether Trump would concede or not. And then come election night, she didn't even want to face her supporters. She sent John Podesta to tell him to go home. They didn't realize she conceded until they got home and turned on their TV. That was real classy. Now she's back and filled with venom.
More and more these days, I find myself thinking of the people that I've met, the stories that I've heard. When this administration rescinded protections for transgender students, my heart broke for all the parents who are advocating so fiercely for their child's right to live, learn, and go to school just like anybody else.
And my heart is aching too. I had a big lunch and I should have waited for the food to digest before I sat and listened to your lies. During the whole campaign, Trump never hinted about taking away anybody's rights. He supports the LGBT community. I've listened to transgenders who support Trump. He said in a couple of interviews that gay marriage is a done deal. And as far as LGBT issues are concerned, he wants to leave it up to the states. Now, I'm not a big fan of states' rights, but Donald Trump is on the side of the LGBT community. His running mate has a different point of view. I mean, really, my biggest beef with the Republican Party are people like Mike Pence. But you clowns are so hot to throw Trump out of office by any means, and then you'll end up with Mike Pence. Then I'd say you have a problem. And yes, I deliberately left out the Q. And a lot of you in the LGBT community are likely triggered by it. Let me tell you why I left it out. The L stands for lesbian, G is for gay, B is for bisexual, T is for transgender, and Q is for queer or questioning. Queer is a pejorative term for gay. It can also apply for lesbian and bisexual or transgender. A lot of people use the term freak instead of queer. Are you going to add an F to your letter lineup as well? The queer community is the gay community. And you already have this covered. Okay, well, it also means questioning. What are you questioning? Are you questioning yourself? Who you are? What you are? Because that would confirm what I've said in previous videos, that you are confused. You haven't a clue who or what you are, and you're listening to the wrong people. And that includes Hillary. You really think she cares? You're nothing but a tool, a useful stooge for Comrade Hillary. She makes it sound as if she's always been on your side. Yet back in 2008, when she ran the first time against Obama, she was against gay marriage. And so was Obama. That was before they realized the political winds have shifted on the issue. How quickly people forget.
When I learned about the proposed cuts in funding for HIV and AIDS research, I thought of all of our efforts to try to achieve an AIDS-free generation. And we were on the way. We can, if we stay on that path, finally realize that dream. But not if we are forced off.
You make it sound like he's cutting funding only to AIDS research. He's making cuts across the board. He's cutting funds for food assistance, Pell Grants, job training. It's not just AIDS. We're talking $18 billion. You have to make cuts. The spending has gotten out of hand. I'm sure a cancer patient would have a different point of view than an AIDS patient, as I have a different point of view when it comes to Alzheimer's or dementia. I'm dealing with a mother with dementia. I'd love to see that $18 billion go to Alzheimer's research. Yeah, Hillary, it would be nice if we could find a cure for AIDS, as well a cure for cancer, as well Alzheimer's. And as president, you sit in the Oval Office every day making hardcore decisions which will affect the lives of everyone, for better or worse. But you don't console along those lines, no, because you want to fan the flames of the hatred they have with Donald Trump. Yes, I feel the hate swelling within them. One way or another, I shall have the power. Really, you are the evil Sith Lord, Hillary. From this day forward, you shall be known as Darth Hillary Clitorius.
And each time this administration elevates an outspoken opponent of LGBT equality, sometimes in particularly cruel ways, like replacing the first openly gay Secretary of the Army with someone who called being transgender a disease, I picture all of the joyful, beaming couples that I've met across our country, on rope lines, backstage at rallies, at the center, who were so excited to get married, start a family, and begin their lives together. I'm especially pleased that my longtime friend, Congressman Sean Maloney, and his husband Randy are here tonight.
Sounds like everyone stood up, Hillary, and applauded. Unlike the Democrats, when Trump introduced the widow of a fallen soldier, a Navy SEAL, that was disgraceful. But what you're doing is even worse. And everyone is entitled to their opinion, even if that opinion is, what's the word? Deplorable. That's the word. Sound familiar, Hillary? If they start kicking gay people out of the military or reinstate Don't Ask, Don't Tell, then that's a problem. But I don't see that happening. And when it comes to disease, that's the wrong word. We're talking mental illness, at least when it comes to transgenderism. And I have listened to videos from transgenders, real transgenders, who actually transitioned, who had the hormones, the implants, the electrology. They are women. They can walk into a women's bathroom and nobody will say shit to them because they are women now. They will tell you it's a mental illness. And the only cure is transitioning. The problem is there are others who know this as well, but will keep it to themselves because when it comes to the LGBT asylum, the inmates have taken over. And those who say it out loud become a target. And it's the fault of people like you, Hillary. You are an enabler. Just like the alcoholic, rather than try and steer them to treatment, you give them money for booze or buy the booze for them. That's just what you're doing with the LGBT community. You are enabling their delusions because you don't care about their wellness, mental or otherwise. They're just pawns in your little game.
So yes, some of the changes we're seeing may seem small, but they matter a great deal if you're the person affected. Like, for example, whether or not you're counted in the census.
What, Hillary, you want the census to have checkboxes for all the mythical genders these idiots have conjured? What was that I said about enabling?
Others carry historic significance, like the future of the Supreme Court.
That ship has sailed. Besides, you're only interested in one issue, abortion. That's all it's ever been about. Hell, your feminist sisters put up with your husband's antics simply because he was for abortion. Yeah, as long as you're for abortion, you can molest young interns in the Oval Office. It's all good, as long as you're for abortion. And oh, how you and other feminists screech when they talk about cutting funds for Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood rakes in the money. Without government funding, Planned Parenthood brings in $775.2 million a year. The government gives Planned Parenthood $528.4 million per year, and that brings it to a total of $1,303,600,000. Now, I don't want to see abortion made illegal. I just want to see my tax dollars going to something more productive, like fixing our infrastructure.
And it is not just here in our country that we're seeing clouds gathering on the horizon. In recent weeks, we've heard terrifying accounts from Chechnya of gay and bisexual men being taken from their homes and families, tortured, even killed. And when government authorities were confronted with these reports, their response was chilling. They said, "You cannot arrest or repress people who do not exist."
Chechnya? Did you say Chechnya? Isn't that part of Russia? And you did a deal with Russia, selling uranium, mined in America. And for that, Russia dropped $500,000 in your slush fund. Not to mention, or let's mention it, the Saudi king dumped millions of dollars into your Clinton Foundation, your slush fund. Saudi Arabia, where women are second-class citizens, where women are forced into arranged marriages, not to mention forced to have female circumcision, better known as female genital mutilation. And the reason they do this is to control their sexuality and make them more docile. And you receive between $10 to $25 million from a king who allows this to happen. I don't know. If you cared so much about human rights, I would think the last thing you'd want to do is accept money from those who violate human rights. Or does that make too much sense to you, Hillary?
The United States government, yes, this government, should demand an end to the persecution of innocent people across the world. And I will say again what I said in 2011. Gay rights are human rights, and human rights are gay rights once and for all.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, she's back to finish the job she started, wrecking the Democratic Party, as if the Democrats need her help. Really, the Democrats still don't get it. They continue to make the same mistakes. Anyway, that's about it for now. Thank you all for stopping by, and thanks for tuning in. And until we talk again, I want you all to be well and enjoy life.